All right, it's another week, which means it's another team training. This is a weekly team prosperity agency training where we go into different components of our business model as well as different ways on professional development and growth, how you can get out of your own way, beat your internal and your external competition. These happen every Tuesday live, 12 noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and they're always, or most of the time, recorded and put out on the YouTube channel and the Facebook group and emailed out to you guys for your own reference. Before we hop into this week's training, last week, what did we do? We went through the agent success playbook. This is building momentum, mastering your different markets, and maximizing growth. That was on the back of another agent success training. A couple of those back to back, great information there. We're going to leave the success kind of theme and we're going to get into insurance. And this is a good training on helping you guys understand you're not an insurance salesperson. If you classify yourself as an insurance salesperson, then people are not going to want to talk to you. If you ever watch that movie Groundhog Day, when he gets introduced to the insurance salesman, over and over and over again. So people don't want to talk about insurance. The easier that you understand and digest that, the easier it's going to be for you to build an insurance business. So from policies to profits, this is turning life insurance into big earnings. Remember, life insurance is only a vehicle inside the solution. Whatever it is that we're solving, this life insurance, whether it be term, whether it be cash value, no matter what it is, it's part of an overall solution or strategy. We're not selling products. We're offering solutions and strategies to people's problems. So this training is going to expand on some previous trainings that we did earlier in the year, and it's going to dive deeper into how to position life insurance to maximize your sales and your income. When you're maximizing your sales and your income, which means you're doing the right thing for the client, there's a huge positive ripple effect. Win, win, win. You're winning, your partners are winning, your clients are winning. So this is not on the backs or at the expense of other people. This is something where you go out and you help more people, you make more money. So we'll cover advanced sales positioning, overcoming objections, optimizing the sales process, and leveraging our model for long-term profitability. It's not about just one day, 1 week, 1 month. What can we put up that's going to change our life and build that legacy that we want? So these are the goals for the training: how to position life insurance as a solution, not a product, the different types of policies and when to use them, and how to seamlessly integrate life insurance into our business model. Remember, our business model is robust. There's different components. Life insurance fits in at different points inside those solutions and strategies, not as like standalone sales and products. So let's kick it off. This is positioning life insurance as a financial strategy, not just a product. And when you start solving problems, you start making money. If you look at the problem of people have too much debt, too little wealth, that is a huge nationwide problem. If you can solve that in a clear, concise, articulate way that gets results for people, well, watch what happens and watch the floodgates open up for your business. It's all about just flipping the conversation. So instead of just selling life insurance, sell financial security, sell wealth protection, sell tax-free retirement and growth. These are the things that insurance vehicles can do for you without talking about life insurance. Explain how life insurance is not an expense. If you have a person on the other side that continually thinks and looks at life insurance as an expense, they're never going to understand the true power and the value of life insurance. It's a multi-purpose financial asset. So once again, it's little things in your marketing, little things in your communication and conversation that can greatly affect you in a positive or negative way. Learn to talk about insurance in the proper way. So what does that mean? What is a multi-purpose financial asset? What can it do? Well, it can eliminate risk. It can provide income replacement, estate protection. So from a basic level, you are hedging the consequence of risk. Okay, if something happened today, what does tomorrow look like? What about create generational wealth, legacy planning? We have trust, we have permanent cash value life insurance. We have a lot of different ways that we can create generational wealth and do so in a meaningful way. No downside market risk, no taxes for their life cycle. And then we can pass that down to their beneficiaries in a tax-free environment as well. What about serve as an investment alternative? Cash value accumulation, tax advantages, really there's different ways that we can use cash value life insurance, but if you're looking at it from like a tax-free retirement account perspective, that's how you need to talk to people. If you're talking to people about insurance from another strategy or another method, then that's the way you need to anchor the conversation. Don't confuse people and don't talk with too much financial jargon. Talk to somebody in the level that they want to be spoken to so they understand what you're talking about and they feel confident in asking questions. If you're not getting questions from the other side, that probably means they're not understanding and they're not in a position where they feel confident to ask those questions. And then living benefits. Remember, all industries, all products evolve. Look at our smartphones. We had a landline, decades ago. Now we have smartphones. So life insurance is no different. So that, the long-term care benefits, the living benefits, they hedge against two possible situations. If your client has assets, then living benefits will help them having to prematurely attack those assets. On the other hand, if they have zero assets, they have absolutely nothing, living benefits will help them from financial destitute, financial chaos, bankruptcy, foreclosure. A lot of the bankruptcies in this country are caused by medical issues that cause medical expenses that cause the bankruptcy. So don't talk about life insurance as life insurance. Talk about life insurance as the part of solution that's going to solve the problem or create the strategy for your client. So number one is change the conversation. And then when you are looking at life insurance, you want to compare it against other alternatives. Now, we're not saying don't put money in a 401k. We're saying, hey, if you're going to get a company match, definitely take that company match up into the 401k, but diversify that money outside the match into other areas. Create diversification, create more slices of the retirement pie, create more legs on the retirement stool. A one-legged stool, we talk about this over and over and over again, and can't stand up. So we need multiple slices, multiple legs to make sure that our retirement is not hit by variables that we don't control. So the more control we can give our clients, the more peace of mind we can give our clients. So clients pour money into 401ks, IRAs, real estate. Why not life insurance? Because they don't understand the value of life insurance. Once they do, you can still do all the other things that you want to do, but you incorporate life insurance as part of that overall wealth building tool. Show how life insurance offers liquidity, tax benefits, stability that other assets cannot. What does that mean? Well, like in a 401k, your partner is Uncle Sam. And at any time, Uncle Sam can change the terms of that deal and partnership. You have no say so. You just have to abide by it. So when you are talking about like cash value life insurance, there's no partners. You're in the driver's seat. You control what money goes in, what money goes out, how it's structured, all of those things. So show how life insurance offers liquidity, tax benefits, and stabilities that the other assets may not. It's not about competing against them. It's about complementing. If somebody has nothing, yeah, we would love to get them started with an IUL. It's one of the best ways they can get started with wealth building. If they have other things, let's add it in as a complementary slice. How do we do that? Just like I was talking about, if somebody's going over and beyond the match, we just take that money, we diversify that money into one of these life insurance contracts. That's not asking for new money. That's just found money that we can deploy in a better way than they're deploying it right now. Life insurance, like every part of our financial planning program, there's different people that we can help at different points. But when you identify high value clients and market segments, it's a lot easier because when you develop a persona, who do I want to talk to? You develop a message. What am I going to say to them? Then you identify where these people are. You're just going out there and you're giving that message to that persona with a decent amount or percentage of that persona raising their hand. Yes, I want access to the guide. Yes, I want access to the masterclass. Yes, I want to set up a discovery call. So the more defined you can be in what you're trying to do, how you're doing it, why you're doing it, the better results that you can be, and the easier it's going to be to make changes in your approach to get the better results that you're looking for. Who needs life insurance? Lots of people, right? I think about 50% of the people in this country have life insurance, 50% do not. So you're looking at a great big market that does not need life insurance. Why would somebody need life insurance? It's not just because you're a life insurance salesman and you're selling it. They need it because if they're a young family, you need to protect in case of unexpected death, disability, sickness, all those things that we don't want to happen to us, but that sometimes life throws at us. In our younger years, our liabilities are greater because we don't have as much assets, right? So in those years, we need a lot more protection than in the later years. We've created an inner circle. We've invited a spouse. We've invited children into that inner circle. We need to make sure that we protect them. And that's not living benefit talk. That's traditional life insurance. You incorporate the living benefits into that talk. Now it's not a selfless buy where we're dead and not understanding really what happens if it helped or not. Now we're still alive. We had the heart attack, stroke, cancer, disability, whatever it might be, but it didn't kill us. So now that is a selfish purchase because that's going to allow us to have bridges of income during those time periods when things get a little chaotic. So you have to break down and understand, why would somebody need life insurance? Everybody has different needs. What about a high income professional? They need tax advantage wealth building options, right? Especially if they're younger, because what's the tax environment going to be in this country as we go further and years out? It's going to be a lot higher because we have to pay off this debt, right? So when you're looking at that, depending on the age, if we go into that unknown environment in the future and you have a tax advantage wealth building tool where it doesn't matter what the tax rates are in this country, you can access your money tax exempt or tax free. That makes a big difference. Understand the conversations that you're having with the people that you're having it are very important, but you can't just throw out the same line to everybody. You have to understand who you're talking to and why this would make sense. Business owners, medium, small business owners, they're wearing a lot of hats. They need buy-sell agreements. They need key person insurance. They need retirement strategies. Hey, let me ask you a question. If you were out of this business for a period of time, 60, 90 days plus, what would happen to your business? If there's negative effects, if the business really can't go on without that person, or it would have a negative impact, key person insurance will allow maybe us to get somebody in for that period of time. So it allows us, just like on a personal level, a business level, bridges the capital during this particular period of time if something bad happens. And then business owners, like we just talked about, they wear a lot of hats. When you wear a lot of hats, there's going to be some things that are deficient. Retirement strategies for business owners are deficient because they don't have access to the HR department. They don't have access to the 401ks and things like that. So part of what you want to do is position yourself as a team member, somebody that can help that business owner, not a salesperson. Pre-retirees, it's not about the accumulation of retirement assets. It's about the distribution of retirement assets. Once you guys understand how to teach that, it makes a lot of what we do on the back end more meaningful, more valuable in terms of the education, the solution strategies, and products. Need income planning strategies with Safe Money Solutions. There's nothing that's going to ruin a retirement more than running out of money. And you see that with seniors in today's society, where they're picking between prescriptions and foods. Being broke at any point in the life cycle sucks, but especially when you're retired and you are no longer able or willing to go into the workforce to have active income. Lifetime income is extremely important. So it's, once again, it's not about the accumulation of retirement assets. It's about the distribution. How much money am I going to have? How long is it going to last? And then real estate investors, another great group to go after if you position yourself correctly, can use life insurance for leverage and liquidity. We can maximize, and put more percentage profits on real estate investors by using some of these contracts to spend money in and out. You don't have to know how to talk to all these people, but you do know how to talk to, one or two of these people. I don't need you to be a chameleon and blend in with all these people. Pick a lane, pick a persona, understand what the messages are, how you're going to speak to those people, and then learn how to open, continue, and direct conversations. That's all you have to do. How to identify the best clients? Well, you ask the right discovery questions. I make presentations and I make some of them interactive to force people to pay attention, because if you're just going on and on and on, sometimes people don't pay attention. So you need to be interactive, you need to be asking questions, and you need to get the other side talking. If you talk all the time, you're going to find your business doesn't build as fast and as great as somebody who learns how to ask questions. Like a blind date, just learn how to ask questions. Those questions will reveal information that uncovers a problem that you have a solution and an action step for. If you don't follow those steps, if you go straight to the solution and the action step without uncovering a problem, it just doesn't work, guys. So that pyramid of influence right there is extremely important. So ask the right discovery questions. Hey, not do you need life insurance? What would happen to your family if your income disappeared tomorrow? Make them answer. Don't just gloss over and go to the next fact. Make them answer. Tell me more about that. Tell me how you would feel. Get the emotional triggers going. Are you confident your retirement income will last? If they're not confident, let's play a little game. What if it doesn't last? What are you going to do? How's life going to look? Would you like to learn a way to grow your money tax-free with no market risk? Inside of a lot of our IULs, we have access to gold, real estate. So how would you like to have access to tax-free gold gains without restrictions on how to access your money? So remember, how you position yourself and how you speak and the questions you ask are extremely important. Master the art of communication, you will master this business. Overcoming common client objections. If you got a persona, you got messages, people are raising their hand, wanting more information, wanting discovery calls, wanting master classes. If you've done your job and you've given them a solution, a strategy within that strategy or solution, our products is entwined in there, intertwined in there. The last thing you got to do is just overcome common client objections. If you've done your job, you should get paid. If you're unwilling to handle objections, then you're going to find a lot of things fall through the cracks. What are objections? They're buying questions. And when you learn to rephrase that in your brain, it makes sense where you can answer all of them in a clear, concise, articulate way, get them checked off the list. When there's none left, guess what? Their sale takes place. I can't afford it right now. Not about adding extra costs, it's about reallocating money to protect your family and grow your wealth. So that's just going to be a knee-jerk reaction. If something costs money, I can't afford it, right? And especially as the economy gets worse and things like that. But what you have to understand is that's just a psychological, like knee-jerk objection re-answer that doesn't really make sense because, I always flip it. I can't afford it right now. Can't afford not to do it right now, right? Because if those things happen, and this is going back to what we talked about earlier in the training, if you can, with some of the other stuff we do, or some of the things that you do in the discovery, if you can find money instead of allocating new money, it's a lot easier for that person to allocate the found money than new money. So it's about how you respond. Example, show how cutting small expenses, eating out, subscriptions. Now that's a very basic level. What I want you to do is find ways where it's not restricting their lifestyle. There's a lot of ways, and we'll do a training on that, can fund a policy. Found money is a lot easier for people to spend. Already have insurance through work. Response, most employers are not portable. You lose them when you change jobs. How do you change jobs? Do you change jobs voluntarily or involuntarily? I mean, you leave or they make you leave, right? So what's work insurance? It's a rented life insurance policy. Doesn't have living benefits. And if you at a later point leave the business voluntarily or involuntarily, and you have some health condition where you can't qualify for life insurance, you're screwed. You don't pull off the side of the road after you wreck your car to get auto insurance. You get auto insurance in place, so in case something happens, you have it in place. Same thing with life insurance. The younger they are, the more apt they are to get approved, and the cheaper it's going to be. Example, compare a work policy versus a permanent policy. Start to talk about the other areas where life insurance, control, cash value, lifetime benefits, you're taking it from a protection standpoint into a protection, accumulation, and estate preservation, where you're getting three things checked off on the financial plan with one policy. So learn to talk and then learn how to overcome objections, and you're off to the races. I don't need it. That's what most people say until they do. You know what that's called? It's called GoFundMe. Best time to insure is when you're healthy and rates are low. You don't want yourself, and you surely don't want your family out there begging with their hands held out on GoFundMe. Hey, my dad, my mom died. Don't have money to bury them. That's at the core. Once they get past that, they got house payments, they got bills, they got food they got to put on the table. So I don't need it is a crazy response. You just have to walk them through that and help them understand how they hope they're not going to use it, but they definitely need it. Share a real life story of someone who waited too long. When you're rebuttaling and overcome objections, don't talk directly at them because it sounds like you're attacking them. Use other stories. Use people that took in life insurance and made a difference. Talk about people that didn't take life insurance and it made a terrible outcome. Indecision and procrastination response. People love to procrastinate. If you give them the chance, they'll keep kicking the can down the road continuously until finally you just don't even follow up with them anymore. So you've got them right there, right here. So what you need to understand and what you need to help them understand is life insurance is something you need to get checked off the list. If it's just a pure protection You know you need it. It's not going to raise the dopamines like going on vacation or buying new clothes or new shoes. I'm right here. You're right here. Let's get it checked off the list and move on with your life. If it's cash value life insurance, a little bit different. So understand who you're talking to. What is it, the solution or strategy? The biggest risk in everything you do in life is going to be waiting. If you talk to people at the end of their lives, the biggest regrets they have is the stuff they didn't do, not the stuff they did. Every day you delay, you get older and the cost goes up. Hopefully, just between us on this training, the insurance company and your client want the same thing. Doesn't happen too often. If you're talking about straight life insurance as a protection vehicle, insurance company doesn't want you to get sick or hurt or die. You don't want to get sick or hurt or die during that if it's a term policy. So you guys are wanting the same thing, and hopefully, that's what happens. You live a nice, long, healthy life. That's where permanent life insurance comes into play. But if you've got somebody and maybe things are tight and you've showed them a permanent policy, maybe you start them off with a term policy, helping them understand this is a lower cost effective way to get started on the protection. This guarantees if you get approved, when we apply for it, if you get approved, this will guarantee ability to convert to a permanent policy later. So you can always start somewhere. If it's not able, drop it down a little bit with the upgrade later conversation happening. You have to handle objections effectively. And this is where a lot of people tend to get into arguments with the other side. And now you're rubbing against each other like friction instead of moving towards an end outcome together. It's too expensive. How much would it cost your family if something happened to you? Already have it. We talked about this. What happens if you leave your job? Leverage referrals. Referrals are going to be something that can really throw fuel on the fire and the velocity of your agency build out and your book of business if you get good at asking it. Ask every client, who else do you know and care about needs access to this information, needs access to this level of protection. If you don't ask for referrals, nobody's going to give them to you. If you do ask for referrals, most people will give them to you. If you've done something, if value is recognized, that's the time to ask for referrals. Optimizing your sales process for more closures. If you're creating leads and maybe the closing percentage isn't there, only thing you got to do is optimize it. How do you do that? You simplify the conversation. Use stories. There was a song that came on the radio the other day that I haven't heard in years and years and years. I knew every word to it. It's because the learning associated with music is different. The learning and the education information associated with storytelling is going to be interpreted and on a better level than just facts and industry jargon. So learn the art of storytelling, incorporate that in what you're doing. Focus on how the policy benefits the client, not just the product features. What is it going to do for that client now and going forward, not just what the product does as a product. Show how life insurance fits into overall financial goals. Show the ways that life insurance can protect, accumulate, whatever it is that you're offering or you're putting in front of them. Show how life insurance fits into the overall financial goals. Show the 6 building blocks of the financial plan. Which ones are we getting checked off with this policy? Which other ones do we need to take a look at as our relationship continues? We're not just going to sell somebody a policy and send them on their way. We want to incorporate them into what we do. We offer free coaching, free mentoring on our clients and partners. We do that because we know that gets user-generated content, gets referrals, gets reviews, everything we need to do to build our brand awareness and our business. Power of storytelling. If you've got a personal story, tell it. If you've got a client case study that highlights, tell it why someone bought insurance, how it changed their financial security, what happened when somebody didn't have coverage. If you're new into the business, you're not going to have many stories. The longer that you're in this business, the more stories that you have, both good and bad. And those bad stories, the time that somebody didn't take you up on that, and then 6 months, 9 months, 12 months later, they have a heart attack, stroke, cancer, they died, whatever it is, it puts more meaning and more value on that time moment you had with them. Don't just think that you guys are selling insurance. You're creating hedges against consequence. You're hedging against risk. You're creating financial and desired outcomes with legit paths to get there. So don't discount what you do. It's extremely important. How to convert, not now. A lot of people will do that. They'll just kick the can down the road. Really, when somebody tells you, hey, I want to think about this, really what they're telling you, hey, I want to stop thinking about this. We've been on for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever it might be. I want to stop thinking about this so I can go back to my normal life. And guess what? If you allow that to happen, they're going to go and they're going to hang up, disconnect from the Zoom meeting, whatever it might be, get back to their normal life and forget all about this conversation. The longer it goes, the more stale it goes, and all of a sudden you can't get them back. So understand the time value and the importance of that moment. Implement a follow-up system. If you can't convert that to a sale right now, and they've got a real legitimate reason, or you've worked through the objection and rebuttals, you're not quite there, what will make or break is a follow-up system. You will build a big business if you have a good follow-up system. You will build a smaller business if you neglect the follow-up system. 30, 60, 90-day check-ins. Send not just follow-ups, are you ready to buy yet, but educational materials to stay top of mind, build that brand awareness. And then we get a great deal of business on policy reviews, upselling opportunities, seeing if somebody's situation has changed. Lots of times people move to different states, move jobs, all these things change. And that's where your client list will come in. As long as you're staying in front of clients, sending them stuff, making sure that you're available to help them with and doing the annual reviews, more and more business and more referrals will come from that. As your business gets bigger, client list gets bigger, the more opportunity you have in those policy reviews. Maximizing compensation and business growth. This is really where you want to take your business to the next level. How to structure policies for maximum income. Now, I'm not telling you to structure it for maximum commission. That's not what I'm telling you to do. I'm trying to maximum income for the client. Upsell to sell larger face amounts or longer terms, offer riders or add-ons that enhance protection, and the position permanent insurance over term when applicable for long-term renewals and commission. Term insurance is fine, and it has its place, but most likely if somebody's 30 years of age and they get a 30-year term, it's going to expire at 60. Most of the times things start happening at that age. Most of the term insurance out there expires without people needing it. So, I'm not going to say it's a waste of money, but if they go into the permanent policies, it takes all that off the table because now I don't have to worry about it expiring. Now I've got it for a lifetime. So you can rent insurance or you can own insurance. Term insurance is rented, permanent life insurance is owned. Cross sell. And we've created a business model that allows you guys to do that. I told you guys, we have clients that come in. Hey, what's your biggest thing, stress point financial right now? Oh, it's student loans. Let me send you over to our other guy if he can help you. And we free up money out of the budget. Now we'll teach you how to take that and leverage it and springboard it in a tax-free retirement account. So once again, found money is a lot easier to implement for the client than new money. So cross-selling increases revenue. You want to cross-sell, offer, and introduce. So cross-sell and then sell multiple policies per household. Just because you sold one to a husband doesn't mean the spouse doesn't need it, doesn't mean the kids, the grandparents, depending on what ages they are. There's a lot of things life insurance can do. And once again, the compounding and the time factor of money, you get some of these kids in these policies early and they'll benefit from it greatly over the next decades as you have this compounding factor really take effect. Offer real estate planning solutions with Wealth Transfer Alliance. We have different things going on that you don't have to be a one-trick pony. You don't have to just be one carrier, one insurance agent. You can go out there and you can be a financial coach, financial educator, advisor, however you want to position yourself. And we take a holistic approach to financial planning, which means we're not selling products. We're looking at the entirety of the financial plan and the situation, and we're providing multiple solutions to benefit the end client. And then introduce like self-insured health options for business owners. Anything you can do to get your foot in the door, whatever is most pressing for the person you're talking to, that's where you want to start. And then once you learn how to do this on an individual basis, you just teach other people. So if you are a producer, you can build a nice 6, possibly a 7-figure income if you're really, really good. But you have to be a really good producer to make 7 figures. You don't have to be a great agency builder to make 7 figures. You just have to have a system to do it. You have to have people to coach and mentor you and create an independence that you know what you're doing, and you take that out and pay it forward. So as you learn what to do, you just teach other people how to be successful in this industry, and you benefit from that time, energy, resources put into that person. Bring in new agents, earn residual income from the sales, overrides, spreads, bonuses. There's a lot. and then use the equity opportunity platform to create long-term wealth. Build an agency, make all the income you can from it, help a lot of people on the client side, help your partners, and then walk away with an equity check for your efforts. Just do what you need to do anyway, and then get rewarded with equity on top of the income that you made. This is all just about a system for improving yourselves, improving the client experience, improving the partner experience, and then having a ripple effect that really improves the overall flow of our business in terms of marketing, consulting, and managing. So improvement, strategy, implementation, target, schedule, collaboration. You need an action plan that demands execution from you, and then you need to be real. Are you meeting that execution? Am I measuring? If I'm measuring, am I getting there? If not, am I being accountable to figure out what's going right, what's going wrong? Set clear goals for the week. Write down, and once again, this is not write down 20 things. Write down 3 specific strategies to implement immediately. Hey, this week for goals, I want to make 10 prospecting calls per day. I want to book 5 new client appointments this week. I want to follow up with 3 past prospects. The more that you can outline and frame and list the stuff that you need to get done, and then tier that list from what's important to what's least important, or most important to least important, the more you'll get out of the day. And if you can beat the clock, if you get good at time management, you can teach other people to do that as well. Your agency will have robust growth. If you guys need it, or as you're building agencies, some other people might need it. Because we're in a virtual environment, don't take away from some of the things that work, like role playing, objection handling practice. Even though we're not in physical offices, we can get on Zoom, we can get into little groups, and we can practice this stuff. Break into pairs and practice common sales conversations. If you're not comfortable doing it to the client yet, get on with another partner who can help you or is willing to listen to you and give you constructive criticism. Have team members critique and improve each other's pitches. If you get better at what you do, and remember, if you're an athlete, you got to go to the batting cage. You got to hit the golf course to practice. You got to do all these things to get good. So when the game time happens, it's not wondering what to do. It's all instinct, right? I plan for this. I practice for this. I know what to do. That's coming from the practice field. So when you get on the game field, you'll be able to perform. And then accountability and follow-up. If you're not accountable, it's going to be hard to build self-confidence in yourself. It's going to be hard to have other people to buy into your vision and leadership because you have a lack of accountability. So accountability and follow-up is extremely important. Schedule a check-in next week to review progress. Recognize top performers in your agency who are implementing these strategies successfully. Hey, this person's doing it. This person's doing it. Let's hear from them. So as you're building these agencies, no matter how small your agency is in the very beginning, take control of that agency. Recognize people that are doing it right. And in the very beginning, you might not have these huge victories in your agency. Recognize and celebrate the small victories. Success in life insurance sales is not just about selling policies. If that's what you're here for, it's the wrong reason. You're going to find that you're not going to stick around for very long because it's not enough of a reason to be in here. It's about helping people secure their financial future. The more value you provide, the more you earn. The business rewards those who commit, stay consistent, and continuously improve. What's the key ingredient for the recipe of success? It's called grit. If you got that, then you're going to be successful. Now is the time to take action, refine your approach, position yourself for the biggest financial year of your career. A year doesn't have to start on January 1st. A year can start whenever you want to have it. And we implement the 12-week year so that we're not having annual goals that we ignore and then water down. We understand the value of the moment and being great in the moment. Learn only what you need to at this point. If you're out there saying, hey, I got to learn all the roles, I got to learn all of this stuff about all the products and the services and all the stuff that we do, that's a veiled way to procrastinate and justify that procrastination. Learn only the roles that you need, only the information that you need. And as your business grows, because you have other people that can help you, you can grow into those roles. You can learn more. Implement what you learn and then grow your business. We want more, not from a selfish perspective, but we want more sales. We want more business growth. We want more income, more confidence, more people help, more. If you have a growth mindset and you are wanting and demanding more from yourself, your partners, your clients, that's a good sign. If you're justifying your weaknesses and you're justifying your excuses on why you're not getting stuff done, that's a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset will allow you to quit, go start something else, quit that, and all of a sudden you're just in a repetition of starting and quitting, starting and quitting. That's not where you want to be. That's where most people in our society, unfortunately, are. Break past that. That's where the grit comes in. So not more from a selfish reason, more from a trajectory understanding that the more has a positive ripple effect and a win-win-win for everybody involved.